Dear students, in this video, I will show the solution and based on the solutions, I will try to frame the questions. The hexagonal pyramid, side of base 30 mm and axis length 65 mm is kept on HP on one of its base edge in such a way that the triangular face containing that base edge is vertical. Draw the projections if the triangular face which is vertical is parallel to VP and nearer to it. So we have a hexagonal pyramid, the dimensions are given and it is kept on HP. It is kept on HP on one of its base edge. Kept on HP on one of its base edge. तो क्या करोगे? Which will be the first two views in stage 1 में क्या क्या ड्रॉ करोगे?
सर टॉप व्यू में हेक्सागन आएगा.
Okay. And front view will show triangle.
Triangle.
Now listen, in hexagon, when we talk about hexagon, there are 6 sides of the base. Okay. And 2 sides are parallel to each other. So when you draw hexagon, it will be like 2 sides are vertical or 2 sides are horizontal. Okay. 2 sides will be vertical either or 2 sides will be horizontal. A or B. See, it is resting on HP on one of its base edge in such a way that the triangular face containing that base edge is vertical. Such a way that triangular face, इसका triangular face, इसको vertical कैसे करेंगे? इसको vertical कैसे करेंगे? ये triangular face है ना, ये this one. अब इस triangular face को अगर मुझे vertical करना है, तो what I should have here? Edge और corner. ये देखो कॉर्नर दिख रहा है सबको, एफ डैश दिख रहा है सबको, एफ डैश.
यस सर.
अभी कॉर्नर से बताओ मुझे कितना ट्रायंगुलर फेस फॉर्म होता है, एक या दो? दो हो सकता है ना.
दो.
ई ई एफ ओ ये एक हो गया, या फिर ए एफ ओ दो हो गया. सो कॉर्नर से तो दो ट्रायंगुलर फेस फॉर्म होगा. यहाँ पे दो ट्रायंगुलर फेस की बात हुआ है क्या? नहीं हुआ है. is kept on HP. So this is correct. All of you understood. It will be triangle and another view will be hexagon. But it is kept on HP on one of its base edge बोला है ना, यहाँ पे clearly बोला है base edge. So when I am saying this, ये base edge हो गया कि corner हो गया? If I keep the hexagon like this, A, if I keep the hexagon A, what will we have here? We will have corner. And the question is demanding that here should be H. H के लिए hexagon B draw करना पड़ेगा, A नहीं. And then this has to be made vertical. This has to be made vertical. And then what it is saying is, next portion, next part of the question, the triangular face which is vertical is parallel to VP. This triangular face which is vertical, that is OAB. OAB is parallel to VP. So this is to be drawn parallel to VP. So this horizontal line will, vertical line OAB बनेगा horizontal line. And it has to be nearer to the VP. See, this is nearer to the VP. अगर away from the VP बोला तो it would have come close to the observer. Now see this answer, and if you have any doubt you can ask me.
सर वो नियरर टू द वीपी नहीं रहता तो हम लोग दोनों साइड से कर सकते थे ना, कोई भी इंक्लाइन कर सकते, कोई भी ये कर सकते थे एज को पैरेलल.
कोई भी एज को मतलब, हाँ
मतलब दो एज है ना सर, सामने भी ये हेक्सागन है ना, तो फिर
नहीं ये
नियरर टू द वीपी नहीं होता तो
आइदर बीई और बीए. करेक्ट, ऐसा बोल रहे हो?
बी और बी.
हाँ करेक्ट 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 करेक्ट.
नहीं होता तो हाँ.
यस यस यस.
Sir, nearer to VP मतलब away from the observer, right?
Correct.
अच्छा, ओके, इसीलिए ऐसा बना है, समझा। हाँ
सर, हेलो सर।
यस प्रणय।
सर इधर स्टेज 2 के टॉप व्यू में हिडन लाइंस नहीं आएगा?
स्टेज 2 के टॉप व्यू में हिडन लाइंस नहीं आएगा। ठीक है, एनालिसिस करते एक एक लाइन का, ठीक है, पता चल जाएगा। ठीक है, सी ए से बी, बी से सी, सी से डी, डी से ई, ई से एफ और एफ से ए, ये पूरा आउटर पेरिफी आ रहा है, बाहर आ रहा है ना। तो
हाँ
ये तो पूरा ही डार्क ही आएगा। ठीक है, फिर ओ, ओ से ए, ओ से ए लाइन इसी लाइन पे आ रहा है, ए और बी के।
हाँ
ओ से बी इज आल्सो कमिंग ऑन ए बी लाइन।
हाँ सर।
OC, OD, OE and OF. So if you see from here, OC, what is this? D and E. So
Yeah.
OD and OE will be dark. Correct. Now this question only of OC and OF. OC and OF. Now this will also be visible. How? I will show it to you here. How it will be visible. This is which point? D. This is E. And suppose C, F, and this B and A. See, now you are viewing it from the top. Okay, you are viewing it from the top. This is clearly visible. D and E. Actually, which is the base? Base is AB. Okay, base is AB. Okay, so D, ये वाला line, this one, and E is clearly visible.
Yes sir.
Now, when you are seeing from the top, this point F and this point E is outside here. Here also it is outside.
Sir.
So this will also be seen clearly. So
हाँ
draw it here. Okay, this can also be clearly seen. This can also be clearly seen. ठीक है?
हाँ सर, हाँ समझा। वही दो का मुझे समझ नहीं आ रहा था, CO और O का।
तो it is coming outward. It is coming outward. So it can be clearly seen. वो यहाँ पे नहीं समझेगा, यहाँ पे नहीं समझेगा. ठीक है?
हाँ सर, समझा। थैंक यू।
Okay. Now, in order to form a question for this solution, we will start with numbering the figures. So this would be figure number 1. This would be figure number 2. This is figure number 3. Then the sequence goes like this: 4, 5, and 6. Now, in the figure number 1, we see a hexagon, and in figure number 2, we see a triangle. So we can start the question in this way: hexagonal pyramid. A hexagonal pyramid. Now, what are the dimensions of pyramid given? So if we see here, this dimension is 30 and this axis length is 70. So we can write a hexagonal pyramid. Side of base 30 mm and axis length as 70 mm is. Now if we look here in the first or second figure, we come to know that the pyramid is resting on HP, but whether it is resting on its base edge or its base corner on HP can be clear from view number 3. So if we see this view number 3, this is the point which shows that the pyramid is resting on its base on HP. But what is this? is this representing a single point, that is a corner, or 2 points, that is an edge? So if we see here, this is representing A dash, B dash, and A dash, B dash forms an edge. So this pyramid is resting on its base edge on the HP. So you can write here is resting on its base edge on HP. So this will be the first sentence of the question. Now, if we look at this figure number 3, here we see that the apex, this point, is at a distance of 55 mm from the HP. It means that this pyramid, which is shown in figure number 2, is inclined, and it is inclined to the horizontal plane or HP such that the apex is 55 mm above the HP. That's why the initial position will show a triangle resting on HP, and the first stage position will show a triangle inclined to HP. And how much is the angle of inclination? That we don't know. But what we know, that it is inclined keeping its base edge AB on the HP such that the axis, this point O dash, which is at a distance of 70 mm from the HP, is so this is inclined such that this O dash remains only 55 mm above the HP. So we'll form the next sentence here. The pyramid is inclined to HP such that its apex is 55 mm above the HP. So this gives us position number 3. And then from position number 3, we can project to get the position number 4. Now we have completed stage 1 and stage 2. And we have formed a question for stage 1 and stage 2. Now, in order to write the question for stage 3, if we compare the figure number 4 and figure number 5, we can see that this edge AB on which this hexagon is resting is vertical in the stage 4, whereas in the stage 5, this AB edge is horizontal. In another word, AB is perpendicular to the VP in stage 2, and AB is parallel to the VP in stage 3. Means we can write the statement that draw its projections when the base edge on which it is resting on HP, that is, I am talking about AB. AB is the base edge on which it is resting on HP, is parallel in the top view. In the top view means parallel to VP. So the base edge is parallel to VP. Okay, this completes the question. But there is one more point given in the solution, and that is we can see that the top view is also touching the vertical plane. We see that the top view is touching the vertical plane, means we can frame one more sentence like this. Note that the apex is in VP. Apex is in VP means in the top view, the apex should touch the XY line. So we should have how many conditions? The condition number 1 is apex should touch the VP. That is, in top view, the apex should touch the XY line. First condition. Second condition is AB should be resting on HP. It means AB should always touch the XY line in the front view, which we can see in the all the 3 stages front view. Next, AB should be parallel to VP. Now, AB should be parallel to VP means in the top view, AB should be parallel to the XY line. And another condition that is given in the question is, in the second stage, the apex should be 55 mm above the HP. That is above the XY line in the front view. So this is the question for this given solution. Let us now frame the question for this solution. So in order to frame question, we'll first mark the sequence in which the views are drawn. Since this view in stage 1, that is top view, shows the hexagon, this would be the first position. Then the second position would be to draw the front view. As per the sequence I already explained to you, this should come third in the sequence, and then this should come fourth in the sequence. Following it, this will be the fifth view drawn in the sequence, and this will be the sixth view drawn in the sequence. Now we see a hexagon in one view and a triangle in another view. It means that it is a hexagonal pyramid. Since this is a triangle, it is a pyramid. Had it been a rectangle in the front view, we would have said that it is a hexagonal prism. But now, since it is a triangle in one view and hexagon in another view, we can say that it is a hexagonal pyramid. And we can see length of axis is 65 mm in the front view. Here we can see length of axis is 65 mm. And we can see that the edge of base is 30 mm, 30 mm. So we'll form the question for this much portion. I can write a hexagonal pyramid. A hexagonal pyramid. What are the dimensions? Side of base 30 mm and axis length 65 mm each. Now, when we can write a question by looking at this first stage solution, we can also draw this first stage solution by reading the part of the question. For continuing to form the question, we have to see the stage 2. And stage 2, number 3 view shows that A dash B dash, that is this A dash B dash is touching the XY line. It means that A dash B dash means 2 points and 2 points forms an edge. It means that edge is touching the XY line. So when we write it in question, we can write it like this. Axis length 65 mm is resting on HP, is resting on HP on one of its base edge. So in this case, the base edge on which it is resting is AB. This question which we have formed is sufficient to draw the stage 1, view number 1 and view number 2. Now, in order to draw view number 3, what we see here is the line joining O2A and O2B. The line joining O2A and O2B. And AB is also connected. It means that there are 3 lines which are joined with each other, O to A, A to B, and B to O. It means it is a phase. It means it is a phase. And here we can see that, we can see clearly here that this vertical line, this line which is seen vertical, is representing a phase, and the name of phase is ABO, where AB is touching the HP, that is front view is touching the XY line AB, and this O. So this is making an angle of 90 degree with the horizontal plane. So we can write it this way. The triangular face, which triangular face? The triangular face obtained by the base edge which is resting on HP, means I'm talking about what? I'm talking about the base edge AB, and the triangular A face formed by this makes an angle of 90 degree with the HP. Or you can also write this triangular face is perpendicular to the HP. Now it makes an angle of 90 degree with the HP, means this edge which we see in the front view is making 90 degree with the XY line. So this third view can be drawn. What is the angle of inclination of this hexagonal pyramid with the HP? We don't know what is the angle of inclination. We can probably measure it here. We can measure it here. At what angle the base is inclined, we can measure it. Or at what angle the axis is inclined, that we can measure. But we are not interested in measuring, because we know that this line should be vertical or should be perpendicular to the XY line. And then we will just project the points and we will get this view number 4. View number 4. Now, the stage 1 and stage 2 are completed. Now, in order to draw stage 3, we'll compare view number 4 with view number 5. We will compare view number 4 with view number 5. Now, when we compare view number 4 and view number 5, we see that this edge AB, which is vertical in the top view, is now horizontal in the view number 5. This is horizontal in the view number 5, and this point O is also falling on the edge AB, means O, B, A, O. So this is representing the face OBA, representing the face OBA. And now this face OBA, which was perpendicular to the HP in this view, is now parallel to VP, means in the top view, this face OBA should be parallel to the XY line. So we'll write it like this. So the question is generally written like this: draw its projections if the same triangular face same triangular face, which is the same triangular face which we discussed earlier in the second statement. The same triangular face is parallel to VP. Now this triangular is should be parallel to VP. Now there is one more point which has to be mentioned in the question, that this triangular face OBAO, here it is nearer to the XY line. So we have to mention this in the question. The face is nearer to the VP. Now what difference it makes? See, if I don't write this sentence, then if someone draws this view in this way, this is A, O, this is B, then this, if someone draws it like this, and this is joined, and this is joined, and this point is D, this point is E, this point is C, and this point is F here. Now, if someone draws it like this is also correct. If this last sentence is not mentioned, then both these views would be correct. But when this last sentence is mentioned, then this is not correct, this is correct. Now you must be thinking about when this is the correct solution, when this is the correct solution, and this is not the correct solution. So this comes in the case that the question will be, the face is, instead of nearer to the VP, you can write away from the VP, or you can write it is nearer to the observer. It is nearer to the observer. Then in that case, this view is correct, and then this view would be incorrect. This view would be incorrect. And then last view, that is view number 6, can be drawn by taking the projections. Hope this clears the students how to form the question from the solution. And if you can form the question from the solution, means you can also solve by reading the question. Now let us understand how to form question from the given solution. For that, we will number the views as, let this is view number 1. Then this will be drawn view number 2. Next, we will draw this view number 3. Then we will draw this view number 4. Then we will draw this view number 5, and this would be view number 6. Now, how the question will be formed? Here we see that this is a pentagon and this view is a triangle, means it is a pentagonal pyramid. And what are the dimensions of pentagonal pyramid? The dimensions of pentagonal pyramid are 25 mm base edge, and axis length is not given here. The slant edge is given, that is 60 mm. So you can form the first sentence like this: a pentagonal pyramid edge of base 25 mm and slant edge. Understand here that the length of slant edge is given and not the axis length. Slant edge is 60 mm. Now we see here that this pentagon is resting on its corner. How do I understand that? If you go to the stage number 2, here on the XY line, we see a corner, that is only 1.A dash. We see a corner. Now, since this is the front view and the front view is touching the XY line, so we can say that this pentagonal pyramid is resting on its corner in the HP. So is resting on one of its corner on the HP. No, just by saying that resting on one of its corner is not sufficient here, because when I say it is resting on one of its corner, we can have different initial positions of the pentagon like this. This is correct. If I draw it like this as view number 1, this is also correct. Okay, and there can be few more positions. So is resting on one of its corner on the HP is insufficient data. So what will we add? We will add that is resting on one of its corner on the HP such that you can see this is the edge which is opposite to the corner. This is the edge which is opposite to the corner is perpendicular to the VP. Means in the top view, the edge which is opposite to the corner, that is this edge CD, which is opposite to the corner A on which it is resting. So this edge CD is perpendicular to the VP, that is it should be perpendicular to the XY line in the top view. So this will be added in the question, resting on one of its corner on the HP such that the edge opposite to this corner is perpendicular to the VP. Now, some of you may think that in the final position, it is not perpendicular to the VP. This edge DC, this edge DC is not perpendicular to the VP. So, understand that now we are framing the second part of the question. Stage 1 is the first part of the question, stage 2 is the second part of the question, and stage 3 is the third part of the question. So in the initial position, and in the second position, we should see that this edge DE, that is the edge which is opposite to the corner on which it is resting, this should be perpendicular to the XY line in the top view. Okay. So now by reading this question, the view number 1, view number 2 will be drawn, view number 3 and view number 4 will be drawn. One thing has to be kept in the mind in this question, that the axis length is not known to us. Axis length is not known to us. What is known to us? The slant edge length. The slant edge length. So the slant edge length can be obtained when this, which is the slant edge, 60 mm, O dash, A dash. So this OA should be parallel to the XY line. Then only this slant edge will show the true length. Then only the slant edge will show the true length. So if it is not mentioned in the question that such that the edge opposite to this corner is perpendicular to VP, then also it is understood that this edge OA, that is slant edge, has to be horizontal in the top view, and this pentagon would be drawn in this manner only. There is no other way in which you can draw the pentagon. Of course, you can draw it in this way also, that is correct, but this one will also be correct. And then this is the slant edge. This one will also be correct, but in this case we will incline the pentagon in this direction like this, which we generally don't do. It is also correct. So except, so these two are equal, but except this, there cannot be any other position in which we draw the pentagon. Means we cannot draw a pentagon like this, because if you draw a pentagon like this, then, and this will be the point of axis. So you can see that this edge is not parallel to the XY line. So this is not correct. Even if you draw it like this also is not correct, because in this case also the true length, not getting the true length, because this is not, this line or this line is not parallel to XY line. So even if you don't write this part of the question, it is understood that the pentagon has to be drawn in this manner only, and no other way is possible. Okay, let us continue by keeping that sentence. So I'm repeating that even though this sentence is not written, the last one, such that the edge opposite to this corner is perpendicular to the VP, there is only one way to draw the pentagon, and which is this one. Now we'll move on to the next part of the question. Now, in this question, we have mentioned that the pyramid is inclined to HP, but we forgot to mention the angle here. So we can mention it here, resting on one of its corner on HP, such that the edge opposite to the corner is perpendicular to VP, and its axis makes 30° with the HP. Its axis makes 30° with the HP. Now the stage 3, view number 5. We see that this edge CD, which is vertical or perpendicular to the XY line, now makes an angle of 40 degree with the XY line. 40 degree with the XY line. So we can write here, draw its projections if the edge opposite to the corner which corner, the corner on which it is resting on the HP, is inclined at 40 degree to the VP, and apex is away from the VP, or this can also be written as apex is nearer to the observer. Both are having same meaning. Now when we say that this edge DC is inclined at 40 degree to VP, means we just have to turn it in this direction. We are turning it in this direction. How are we turning it? We are turning this view number 4, in this direction. We are turning this view number 4 in this direction such that this line CD becomes inclined and it makes an angle of 40 degree, which is seen here. And then the view number 6 can be drawn accordingly. Okay, now we'll move on to another question. We'll first number the views. This will be the view number 1. That is, we will draw this view first. Then we can draw this view. Then the third position is obviously this. Fourth position is this. Fifth position is this. And this will be the sixth view that we will draw. So it is important to identify the position number 1, and then the remaining positions are drawn in a sequence. So let us form a question here. I can start like this. A square pyramid. What are the dimensions of pyramid? Side of base 35 mm. Side of base 35 mm. And axis length is 50 mm. 50 mm is resting. Now you can see it is resting on HP because front view is touching the XY line in the stage 2. Front view is touching the XY line on the stage 2. But what we see here, is it resting on its base edge or is it resting on its corner? No, it is neither resting on its base edge nor it is resting on its corner. But we can see that it is resting on how many points? A dash, B dash. So A dash, B dash, it is resting on how many points? A dash, B dash, and O dash. So as 1 point forms a corner of base, as 2 point forms edge of base, 3 points touching the XY line would form the triangular face. So it is resting on one of its triangular face. It is resting on one of its triangular face on HP. So first we will draw this. This square has to be drawn like this. We cannot draw the square like this. Because if we draw the square like this, then here we'll get 1 point. If we'll get 1 point here, then if I project it, we will get a triangle like this, where we'll have 1 point here, A dash, and if I rest it like, if I rest it on the HP, then here we will have A dash, O dash, and A dash, O dash would be called as the slant edge. Slant edge. So if someone draws the square like this, the red color, then the question would be a square pyramid, side of base 35 mm and axis length 50 mm is resting on one of its slant edge on the HP. We'll come back to our given question. It is resting on its triangular face on HP. So we'll draw this one view number 1, then view number 2, then we'll incline the view number 2 such that O dash, A dash, B dash lie on the XY line, and then we'll form this view. Next, what we can see here is, what do we see here is this edge AB is making an angle of 45 degree with the XY line in the top view. Means this edge, this base edge AB, which was vertical here, is now inclined to VP at 45 degrees. Now, which is this base edge? This is the edge which is resting on the XY line. So we can frame the question like this. The edge of this triangular, triangular triangular face makes an angle of 45 degree with the VP. So draw its projections. This will give us view number 5, and finally we can draw view number 6. One point to note here is that the apex of the square pyramid is close to the observer. Close to the observer. So I hope you have understood how to form the question from the solution. And if you try to form as many questions as possible from the solution, you would be able to solve the given question of projection of solid. So try this for as many questions as possible. Here I have tried the vice versa, ulta way of forming the question from the solution. You also try this, and then you will find it easy to solve this by reading the question.